Make sure that my chat is working. Okay, seems to be working. Seems to be working. Oh. Okay, well, it seems to be working fine. I had a little bit of a glitch in the matrix, but it seems like it has helped itself out, or remedied itself. So, I don't know. I guess we're just gonna go knock this out. Go knock this out really quick because I have to get on the road. It is, I don't know, it snowed about 3 or 4 inches, maybe, throughout the night. It's still kind of snowing right now, even though the weather report says it's not snowing, but I wasn't able to get my van fixed last night. I worked on it for a little bit, but so it's going to be a fun drive all the way down to Henderson, Nevada. But good morning, brother. Hope all is okay with you. Yep, everything's going pretty good. I had to come back to Helena because my van was having issues, and ran the diagnostics. It's my right rear ABS sensor, and I have a spare one, or at least I used to have a spare one. So I came back here to replace it, and I can't find it. So it was kind of a waste to come back here. Well, going to do this. Oh, gosh dang it. Oh, gosh dang it. Okay, I gotta set you guys down. I can't get to what I need to get to. You were gonna move into the van permanently. Well, I was for about the last 2 years, up until about 3 or 4 months ago. I have been living in my van permanently, but once my tenant moved out here, I was using this temporarily through the holidays while I was waiting to get my puppers. And I couldn't find anybody closer to watch her for my race, so I had to drive all the way back. As you see, it's like all nice and snowy out here. I had to drive all the way to North Dakota to drop her off. Luckily, Fearless Lion, Rachel, as she's professionally known as, she volunteered to watch her, but she lives in North Dakota, so I had to drive all the way to North Dakota, drop her off. And while I was down in Arizona to help support the live stream of the race, I had to cross because it rained and snowed while we were down there. First time Black Canyon course has had snow on it ever, but I guess I got the light. But they think we'll go this way. So I had to do a water crossing. Well, it screwed up my right rear ABS sensor, which I had issues with last year, and I got it fixed. But last year the code was a little bit different. It wasn't necessarily my sensor that was bad. The wiring was broke, so I had to fix that. Now the code is actually thrown for the ABS sensor. I pulled the ABS sensor out and it was filthy. Like it was all, it's like, okay, I understand why you're not working. Well, I cleaned it up and everything worked fine for, I don't know, probably 10 or 12 hours. And then it's tripped again and I pulled the ABS sensor out. It wasn't dirty, but then when I put it back in, it seemed to work. Well, I figured out what it was is actually because I turned the vehicle off. So I would turn the vehicle off and then start it back up, and it would go away and work again for another hour or so, and then it would trip, and then I'd have to pull off the side of the road, shut the vehicle off, turn it back on. Because here's the issue with it. I can still drive, but what it does is I lose my all-wheel drive, I lose my cruise control, I lose my collision assist, I lose like the traction control, all that kind of stuff. And so when you're driving 2,000 miles without cruise control, it sucks. And now when you're driving on roads like this, not having traction control and all-wheel drive and all that sucks. So it's drivable, it's just not the best, the safest. Now the nice thing is I looked at the road report. As soon as I get about, let's see, it would be about 150 miles south of here, the roads dry up for most of the way. There's still some bad roads in the storm system going through Utah, but for the most part, the road conditions will be not bad. It's just when I don't have cruise control, so now I'm using my right foot, and when you're not used to having to drive without cruise control, it is like yesterday. I felt it when I got back here. I could feel my shin muscle, I guess you could say, almost like I was starting to get shin splints because I was having to use that muscle more than I would normally, which sucks when you're getting ready to race 100 miles. You don't want to start off with a muscle already jacked up. So that's my only concern with it. But one more block. Like I said, I checked the wiring, and it's not throwing a code for the wiring like it was the same thing last year. It's throwing the actual ABS sensor. But I don't know. I checked the wiring. I couldn't find any break in the wiring. And it just sucks that I can't find my... The reason why I had a spare right rear ABS sensor is because last year, with all the diagnostic I did, it said that, like all the research I did online and troubleshooting, it said that it was, possibly the sensor. So I just got the sensor. I was going to replace it. And while I was replacing it, I found the break in the wiring last year. And So I didn't change the sensor because the sensor was fine. Fix that, brake, everything worked great. And it's been working great for, you know, however long, over a year. But I don't know. I mean, I could. There's a fault in the way that the connectors are down on the axle for these ABS sensors, which is where the brake was. But like my fix last year, it's still holding strong. I like checked everything else and I don't see how it could be anything, but there is some corrosion on the connector. So maybe it's the connector, but I don't think so, because otherwise it wouldn't be throwing the actual sensor code. Because last year it just said, well, it was throwing some PCM and codes. And the PCM code basically said it can't run the test because it can't connect to the ABS sensors. And that's why I didn't know which one it was necessarily, all that. I had to actually, last year, when I was doing the diagnostics, I had to go one by one, and that's when I found out it was the right rear on that. But I'm wearing my spikes today because it's kind of snowy and icy and everything, but most of what I've been running on, people have thrown salt on the ground. So I was like running on concrete. Ooh. But I really need to get that fixed, because immediately after my race, I have to run all the way back up to North Dakota again, which is, I don't know, like 1,700 miles, something like that. Grab my dog, turn around, immediately drive down to the California, San Francisco Bay Area to help with another live stream of a race. It's like, I got a lot of driving to do. But if I can't get my van fixed, I might have to tell them that I can't make it to San Francisco, because I'm not going to drive all that without, and it's not necessarily the cruise control, but now in order to go there, I have to go over Donner Pass, and without having all that stuff, you never know what, with roads the way they are, I don't know if I feel safe going over Donner Pass. I ran a 5K last Saturday. There was a mix of road, narrow track, and trails. It was a fun race. Nice. That's awesome. No snow. What? You didn't get a bunch of snow down there where you're at? It's probably 60, 70 degrees during your race. Although it's not too cold out right now. I'm just wearing my mittens because all my other stuff is in the van. I didn't feel like running out to the van to grab some stuff. So it looks like the city actually plowed this trail. Well, actually, there's nobody out here, so I'll change camera views. How do I do that? I'm multicasting right now on my YouTube channel as well, so I can't figure out. There we go. There's way too many things for me to get into now. But looks like the city probably plowed this a couple hours ago, because now there's just a little skiff from what's been falling the last hour and a half or so. It's just a light dusting. I mean, I can almost see the sun through the clouds. But somebody else has been out here with some yak tracks on. I actually just have screws in the bottom of the sole of my shoes. It's an old pair of trail shoes that I have worn out, and so I just for winter running, I put some wood screws in the bottom. Actually, they're not wood screws, I think they're sheet metal screws. But it is a poor man's way of making spikes. My favorite trail shoes, just depends. So probably my favorite just overall trail shoe right now is the normal Kirog. I love that shoe. It's definitely just a minimalist, lightweight trail shoe. But if it was like really like super rocky terrain, that kind of stuff, then I would wear probably the Brooks Cascadia. If I'm gonna do like a long run on the trails, I like the Hoka Speedgo 5, which I think they're coming out with a 6 here shortly. Well, I know they are. I talked to the Hoka rep last weekend. And I'm pretty sure Brooks just came out with the Cascadia 17 too. But my favorite racing shoe, trail shoe, is probably the Brooks Catamount 2. It's a nice lightweight shoe, pretty good protection against rocks and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure well, I know they're coming out with a new version. I don't know if it's going to be a Catamount. I don't know what the name of the shoe is going to be, but I know it's basically the Brooks equivalent of that new Adidas Terex racing trail shoe. Because I got to see it, the prototype of it. I'm not under any sort of embargo, so I can talk about it. So I'm excited to see what that shoe is going to be like, to actually run in it. I've held it in my hand, or at least, what, 6 months ago, the version that they had. Because I got to see it when I was over in Europe at the expo at UTMB. So I guess that'd be more than 6 months ago, yeah. Or no, that'd be about 6 months ago, yeah. Because when I was on the Brooks sub-elite team, that's why I have a lot of Brooks stuff. Like my hat I'm wearing right now. Or no, not my hat I'm wearing right now. I wear a different hat. My coat, my pants, my shirts that I'm wearing right now are all, let me go this other way, are all Brooks gear. And pretty much everything I had for my UTMB race was Brooks. When I was at the expo, checking things out, seeing what there was and if I needed anything new. And the Brooks people saw me walking and they're like, assumed I was a Brooks pro athlete. And I'm like, no, I used to be on with their sub-elite team, so I still have all the gear, and as expensive as gear is, I'm not going to buy new stuff. So I just use it until it's going to fall apart. And so I got to talk to them, and because they saw I was actually wearing the Catamount 2s during the expo. Because I had a new pair, and that was what I started off my race with. And then I switched out at the halfway mark to the Cascadias. But at least I was wearing the Catamount 2s. I was just wearing them because I needed to break them in. They were brand new shoes. Didn't need to break them in. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to start off the race just brand new. Gosh dang, I keep kicking myself in the ankle bone. Hurts. Because the snow is a little bit slippery, so it's throwing off my back kick a little bit. So then when I bring my foot forward, it keeps clipping my ankle bone. So, speaking of UTMB, I think it's cool to talk about the power that people have. So, with all the controversy the last year with UTMB group and athletes speaking out, like pro athletes, as well as the public, about some of the shady dealings going on, all because Ironman Group owns like 45% of UTMB. The Pilates, of course, own the rest of the 55%. And some of the shady deals that have been going on, where they forced out Gary Robbins up in Canada with one of his races so that they could have a race up in the Vancouver area, well, really the Whistler area. And then a month later, they fired Corinne Malcolm because of how outspoken she was. The fact that during the UTMB broadcast of all the races, they were unfairly showing the males versus the females for coverage. I mean, it was pretty bad. It was like 80% coverage of the elite men and 20% coverage of the elite females. And I'm not gonna lie, the female races were way more interesting than the guys, just because of the level of competition. But so they fired her from commentating because of how outspoken she was. Killian spoke out because right before UTMB last year, they brought on a huge car sponsor, and not necessarily like a eco-friendly car manufacturer. So he was very outspoken against that, the commercialization that UTMB seems to be going through, and how it's ruining the whole trail culture scene. Well, because of all this stuff, all this backlash they've been getting over the last 9 months, they had a big meeting, initial of continued meetings about how they need to refocus their I don't know what you call it, like their views or whatever. And they invited people like Killian and Core and Malcolm and all these people to participate. No, I talked to Corinne Malcolm this last weekend because she was helping out with the live stream as well. And she said the meeting, it was good they were having a meeting, and it was just the initial meeting, but not a lot got done. But she was optimistic. So if she's optimistic, that says a lot. The UTMB group side of house, which again is the, the base for the trail culture, all that kind of stuff. they understand. They just gotta convince the Ironman group. Because I think, I mean, I've publicly spoken about this, how a lot of their races, there's like zero, well, not zero, but their registration has not, it has fallen dramatically for some of their races because of the way the public is speaking about it. You know, hardly anybody is signed up for the race in Whistler because they are holding out for, you're taking snowflakes to the face, or to the eyeballs, I mean. They were holding out to see if Gary Robbins is going to be able to get this other race going, which he said publicly that some of the permits and everything were just too far out of reach to get this close to the race. So for 2024, it's not going to happen. But so that might have a little bit of an increase, because the race is going to happen. If he was going to be able to get it going, it was going to be the same weekend as the UTMB race. Ah, man, it is coming down straight ahead of us. A few seconds ago, I could see the sun. Oh, there's nothing. Somebody's coming up running behind me. Where'd they come from? I'm the only person crazy enough to be out here running. Oh, I gotta get back anyways, because I'm gonna bring my spare battery in this cold weather, or the cold air is draining my battery quickly. In fact, I'm probably not even gonna bring it back. Just that one lap, I watched it go from 80% down to 30%. Okay, that person went around the path again. Let's change back to there. So now I'm going to be getting into the downtown area again, so it could be a little bit busier, but can't be lollygagging. I'm a little worried. All this driving I've been doing the last couple days, I have like a little, I don't know if it feels almost like some muscle spasms in my shoulder neck area, and it hurts. It doesn't hurt as bad today as it did yesterday. Yesterday it was awful. I was hoping a good night's sleep would fix it, and I'm not gonna lie, like I said, it feels a whole lot better than it did yesterday, but I can still feel it. So, oh geez, I'm already down to 20. Just in a quarter mile, went down another 10%. I'm down to 15. Holy cow, what the hell? Okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to end the stream, because for some reason my battery is just getting destroyed right now. So that's it. I'm gonna try and do a run. I said last run, but I gotta do a shakeout run on Thursday. So I should be able to live stream that. And that'll only be like, again, another like 2 or 3 miles is all. And then race starts on Friday, which will be live streamed. Go to the Mountain Outpost YouTube channel. And they are live streaming the entire race. So you'll get to see my progress. A lot of big name people are, gosh, today, last 30 seconds, I've dropped 10%. A lot of big name people have registered now last minute, so my chances are dwindling of podiuming and earning some money, but we're gonna, I guess it gave it attrition anyways. But I'm just gonna run my race, because one thing about these races is you could be the most elite person in the world and get about 30 miles in and blow up, and that's the end of your race if you push it too hard. And then somebody like me that just is hopefully going to be able to just run his own race could end up on the podium anyways. But like the winner of the Javelina 100K, he's running this weekend. He was supposed to run Black Canyon, and he dropped out just so he could run this race instead. So it'll be interesting, but you'll be watching. Nice. I'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.